Hello, Cancer. This is Jill with the Healing Moon Tarot, and today we're going to do your September 2018 general reading. I am having issues with how my files are saving, so I will be stopping the recording and restarting it at some point. So if you notice when that happens, don't be thinking I'm trying to get something by you by editing. It's just how my files have to be saved right now. We're going to do two separate readings, actually. We're going to start with an oracle card, and I'm going to pull one deck with these and do a pretty inclusive reading. And then we're going to pull another deck at the end and just look for a little bit more insight into stuff. And hopefully my neighbors stop being loud soon. All right, let's see what card comes out first, Cancer. These cards are so hard for me to shuffle. They're so big. I think we're going to take that one right there. We have be gentle with yourself, Cancer. That's pretty self-explanatory. You know, to be kind to yourself. How do you speak to yourself? If you heard someone else speaking the way you speak, would you feel like those were loving, supportive, understanding words, or would you feel like that was abuse? A lot of us abuse ourselves on a pretty regular basis, and there's no way we'd ever stand for it if that was happening in front of us. But somehow we're able to do that to ourselves. So I would, this coming out as your very first card in the main energy, I would try very hard to be conscious of what you're saying to yourself and how you feel about yourself and those types of things. So let's get some more cards pulled and we will see what comes up. Let's start right here. Oh. Looked at that 3 times and didn't notice it was upside down. Our first card is the 8 of Swords. And this card shows me like self-limiting behavior. So again, if you're not being gentle with yourself, if you're saying mean things or limiting yourself or putting restrictions or judgments on yourself, and a lot of times with that kind of behavior, the more you struggle and thrash around, the more stuck you get. So instead of trying to control that, for me personally, one thing that has worked is being grateful. Just purposefully changing whenever I catch myself being angry over something I shouldn't be angry over, or feeling anxiety over something I can't control anyway, or feeling frustrated, or being mean to myself. I catch myself and I immediately start listing things I'm grateful for. And I don't care what kind of life you have. You can be grateful that you have the internet, because you're obviously watching YouTube right now. You can be grateful you have skin covering your bones and breath in your lungs and at least ears to hear me or eyes to see me, or regardless, you always have things to be grateful for. So maybe that can help you if that's something you're struggling with, or whatever it is you do to help get out of that kind of mindset. Next, we have the 3 of Coins, and this is a card of putting in some work and taking whatever your work is and presenting it in front of somebody else. A lot of times it's just like, okay, I've created this. Does this have worth to you? Like presenting something you've done, presenting your work, presenting your project to someone that can facilitate its growth or facilitate it actually having monetary value or something like that. So I feel like you have something brewing, you have something you've been working on, you've been putting in some work. But on either side, we have the Eight of Swords, which, as I said, is self-limitation, and we have the Death card. And the Death card isn't death. It's not like an ending, or it is an ending, but it's not just once something's done, it's done. It's the ending of that cycle, and one will need to start again, kind of thing. So it's a transition. It's this has to be completely done in order to do something new. Most people can relate to this in like relationship stuff. Like, you can't start a good, healthy, happy relationship if you're still holding on to an old one, kind of thing. So I just feel with this coming in the center that you have to get to a place where you can stop this behavior in order for this to progress. I'm going to pull some more cards and see what else the story has to say. The Six of Swords can be as literal as physically moving away from an abusive relationship. It's getting away from the allowance of being treated bad. And sometimes it's you, as I said in the very beginning, abusing yourself. So whether this is someone else in your life or it is you doing it, there is movement away from it. And then Miss Justice is sitting here. There are consequences to our actions, whether you want to think it's karma or however, the scales get balanced. You know, my mama always used to tell me, you get what you give in this life. And she preached it really hard to me and made me understand that if I was given ugly, nasty, horrible things, I'm going to get ugly, nasty, horrible things in return. And it made it really important for me to value what I'm putting out into the world and how I'm treating people and so forth. So I feel like there is definitely movement, and it may take coming to these two big energies of being able to really stop something from happening and be like, I am done with this. And I have to believe that justice will sort itself out. And it's not my responsibility any longer, and I'm not going to live in the past. I'm going to trust that the universe will sort it all out, and I'm just going to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving towards my destination, and I'm going to do what's right for me, and I'm going to take care of my thought processes in a healthier way. And this card may also tell you to get strict with your boundaries. You know, these are my expectations to be in my life, to be around me. If not, you can move on. That kind of energy may also be associated with this. Let's pull a few more cards for you, Cancer. I just can't shuffle. I'm not taking. All right, cards, get in my hand. World card. Standing on top of the world, Wheel of Fortune, also a circle, talking about these cycles that come to an end in this, circle of life, this circle of patterns. It just seems to be an overall theme here in this reading. This Two of Wands can sometimes touch into duality, wanting to be more than one place at one time. With this card, I kind of relate, because how this energy shows up in my life is I'm a big time homebody, hermit. I like to be alone. I like to be at home. I don't need to interact with the world a lot. However, on the other side of things, I love to travel. I love to go off far off places and experience new things and that kind of thing. But it doesn't have to be all the time, and I'm very happy at home. But without that, I do feel like part of me is missing. So it's this duality within me. Part of me loves adventure, and part of me is okay staying sitting in literally the same spot for 12 hours. I can do that alone and be okay, which sounds crazy to some people. So you may be experiencing some duality in your life and trying to understand what that contrast means, where you should be putting more of your time or energy, or, well, this feels really right, but that feels really right too, and I'm unsure. I think when it all boils down, with the World card and the Wheel of Fortune coming next, the World card is an understanding of those cycles, an understanding of that completeness, that wholeness, this never turning evolution of what the world is. And the Wheel of Fortune card reminds us that, I don't want to say like a roulette wheel spinning, but because that's not how I usually associate the Wheel of Fortune. But again, there's cycles, things will come back to you, your karma will come back to you, but also you don't have any control over how this happens. It runs its own course in its own way for its own reason, and you just have to trust that you're in alignment with receiving the good out of life and receiving the abundance out of life and feeling this wholeness. So overall in this reading right now, okay, I had to check my time because I'm afraid now I'm like getting paranoid about it like turning off on me. Overall in this reading, going back to the being gentle with yourself, giving yourself the respect you deserve, giving yourself the gratitude that you deserve, whether it's keeping a gratitude journal, talking with someone about how you feel, allowing some acceptance into your heart about yourself, who you are, how you live, being able to, get in front of a mirror and look in your own eyes and feel like you have a good conscience about your life. And you may not be there right now. You may be in a place where you're being nasty to yourself, or you're allowing someone else to not treat you well. And I think that overall, the more gentle you are with yourself, the more understanding and loving and compassionate you are with yourself, the more you can get to this place where you deserve to have abundance in this life, and to have love in this life, to have joy in this life, and to feel good wherever you are. And some of the things about you can contrast a little bit, or you may have be unsure right now, or those kinds of things, and that's okay. It's part of the journey. So I think there's some really beautiful cards. Yeah, there's some heavy energy in there. I really don't think it's all that serious, Cancer, but I think you just have to trust in yourself and love yourself this month, and that ends on such really beautiful energy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stop the camera and restart it. And I'm going to clean these up, by the way, and we're going to get another deck out and do another part of the reading. So I'll be right back with you. And now we're going to use this little deck. It's called Happy Tarot, and it's super cute. And this time I'm going to pull cards for specific placement. And I've done this in a lot of my other videos, so I like doing these, and so I thought we'd try to make this a more inclusive, longer video as an apology that I would add it in with the other. So the first card we're going to pull is for your mental space. I guess we got two. We have the World card again, and we have the Lovers card. See what I was talking about? They're really freaking cute. I say that's my husband. That's him. Hands on hip, cheesing, buck naked on a big wheel. All right. So it looks like mentally, these are really positive, happy cards, but my first thought was being too invested in your significant other, allowing them to have too much control or power or to be your world. So the Lovers card, I always take it as a conscious choice to be in this relationship, making that choice over and over and over again to love somebody unconditionally and learn what unconditional love really is and really means, because sometimes that's not natural to some people. You know, they complicate it and screw it all up with negative stuff and hold people responsible for things they're not responsible for, you know, those kinds of things. So you know, maybe your significant other or your best friend or whoever this person is, you make the choice to love unconditionally. Maybe you put a little bit too much of your power in their hands, like I can't be happy unless they're happy too, or it's about them making me happy or whatever. However, I'm sorry, this isn't sitting straight, it's driving me crazy. However that's playing in your life, or, you know, just emotionally, maybe I was wrong, maybe it's you beating up you, and that first, like I kept going back to, but whoever your support system is really healthy and happy and helps pull joy to your life and so forth. Let's pull a card for your physical space. Sorry, brain's not working. Ten of Swords. Is there an injury or something? Like, is that why you've been really hard on yourself? Is that why you need to be gentle with yourself? Is that why you're stuck in a spider web? Have I been reading this wrong the whole time? Because the Ten of Swords, like, they're like dead, right? They look dead. Finito, tired out, worn out. Oh, as soon as that card came out, which I probably usually don't associate with an injury, but that's my first thought, it coming in the physical space. Are you laid up for physical reasons? Regardless, still take the same steps to get healthy. Dealing with your mental space and being really super duper kind and gentle with your emotional and mental and spiritual space can definitely help you heal physically. So I don't change anything I said before, but physically, regardless if you've hurt yourself or not, it looks like you're like down for the count, worn out. You're possibly doing too much and putting too much work in, or taking on things you don't need, or sticking more of those swords right in your own self. Going back to earlier with the Eight of Swords, self-limiting behavior. Let's see where you are emotionally. Ace of Coins. So that's seeing potential as something new in your physical space. New job, new hobby, new home, this potential to create something new in your physical space. So I should really leave the other cards laying out. I just only have so much space that you can see too. Yeah, I said that you had a it was the Three of Coins. And see, this is the problem. I do a reading and people will ask me about, like, down the road. My friend will call me and like, man, that reading you posted for Capricorn, like, that got me or whatever. And I'm like, as soon as this reading's done, I don't remember anything I told you. Nothing. It's weird that it happens that way, but I never remember what I read. So since I already picked those cards up, it's already leaving my head. So if it is a new job, if it is a project that you're just now getting to the point where you feel like you can put it in front of other people, or you've gathered enough information, or you've gathered enough resources, that's what I really see that Three of Coin as. It's new and exciting and you're emotionally attached to this stuff, and that's maybe why you're beating yourself up in self-limiting talk or not respecting yourself enough, because you're too emotionally invested in something that doesn't if you listen to some very successful, like, entrepreneurs that create products or create businesses and that kind of thing and have made bajillions of dollars, right? They will tell you they do not get emotionally invested in their projects. They create it, they put all this power and excitement into it, and then they put it into the world, and either people take it or they don't. And regardless, they're moving on to the next thing. They do not have time to mourn if it wasn't the right time or place for that product or for that idea. So that may be something to keep in mind right now is, so many people will be like, oh, but it's my baby. No, that may sound like a good thing, but it's not a good thing. You need to get the emotions out of the way, and so you can really create it without worrying about protecting it. If that makes sense. Let's pull one last card for you, and this is your spiritual space. No, this is not the last card, sorry. We have the Devil come out in your spiritual space, which is your card. No, it's not. I don't know why I just thought that. Gemini. I pulled this card for Gemini earlier, and it's a Gemini card. Okay. Cancer. Bad habits or a control situation may be in your spiritual space this month. And maybe... So this card talks about things that control you rather than what you control. So addictions, bad habits, giving your power away to someone else. If you're letting someone else dictate life, dictate how you feel, dictate, I'll be happy when so-and-so makes me happy. I'll be happy if so-and-so does A, B, or C. I'll be happy if blah 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 happens. That's giving away power. It's I'm happy and this might happen or that might happen, and I don't know, I needed a beverage. One sec. So this coming out in your spiritual space may just mean that your bad habits have gotten in the way of a spiritual practice, and I'm not saying that you have to go to church or join some kind of group or whatever. Spiritual practice may just be meditating, some form of self-care where you detach from electronics and people and things and stuff, and you just deal with you. And that's maybe where your spiritual side lies. But regardless, I think the message is that bad habits have been getting in the way of a spiritual relationship with yourself, or within yourself. So maybe you need to reevaluate how those energies are playing for you this month. All right, let's pull 2 more cards, and these are just going to be our last words of advice, or action words is what I really like to call them, suggestions. We have the Sun and the Queen of Wands. I'm going to take this as enjoy your... Wah! I'm so sorry. Enjoy your life. Find some joy. Find some excitement within your own self, and do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you smile. Do what makes you feel joy, feel excitement, what makes you feel passion and creative, connected to yourself. Those 2 cards coming out together, I mean, it's the Sun and it's the Queen of Fire. This could be another person, but fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if that's your significant other or a good friend or whatever, it may be they come into and they have that fiery energy, and they're like, all right, it's about to get real. Let's go have some fun. I'm going to bring out some of this excitement in your life or whatever, getting you to enjoy things. But I would suggest not to wait for that person, and just be that person and be willing to get excited about things and have some joy and have some fun, because the overall energy, I mean, yeah, there's some tough cards in there where you're feeling a little beat up, or you might physically be beat up a little bit, but there's so much to be grateful for, and there's so many beautiful cards in your deck and strong, beautiful energies coming out. That's a lot to be grateful and excited for. And I think if you remember to be gentle with yourself, and to live life in a loving, grateful way, the month could really go well for you, and you can move away from some of those negative behaviors and get this new thing rolling. So I think it's a good month, and I'm gonna end there, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed. If you resonated at all, I would absolutely love a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please comment below or hit me up on one of my social medias. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And if you would like to hear from me again, just remember to hit subscribe so you'll get that notification. All right, Cancer, we'll see you soon. Bye.